San Antonio X Factor have been poised on the edge of winning at every event. This team has been super consistent and hungry since they last won an event, World Cup 2013. X Factor has not missed a Sunday since August of 2014. The issue has not been personnel or major roster changes. There's not been a coaching change or a swap in ownership. X Factor needs to have balance across the board. From the snake side, center, back, and Dorito side, X Factor has not had their 5 players on the field play at the same level. The overwhelming time has been Archie Montemayor, who is our 2017 stats leader. Others have stepped up, Colt, Grayson, Billy, and Michael, but the timing of this has always hindered X Factor at the time when they need it most. AC Dallas is a snowball, slowly rolling downhill, gathering mass, and running over everything in its path. The team, built by coach Greg Pauly, has steadily been improving and taking down all the top teams in the NXL. Most thought the team would be written off this year as 3 of their core players left for other pro teams. This was not the case. The addition of Brad McCurley from Infamous has been monumental. AC Dallas played one of, if not the best comeback games of the year in Las Vegas. Team stat leader Matt Jackson and his teammates John Jackson, Ryan Hall, Brad McCurley, TJ Danner, and Jesse Stevens have shown us what a small, highly motivated squad can do. San Diego Dynasty came out of the gate swinging at the first NXL event of the year in Las Vegas. They played an epic finals match against rivals Edmonton Impact that gave you everything you would want in a paintball match. From fast points to slow methodical play, penalties, and a final epic run-through to win it all, Dynasty let everyone know they still had what it takes to win. Move forward to the present, and we have not seen that same team on the pro field. They shocked most when they failed to make Sunday in Dallas and have had a few controversial games that have led to their early Sunday exit in Atlantic City and Chicago. Now poised to play the 2017 NXL World Cup, an event the team won in epic fashion in 2015, can the team repeat history and get themselves a win? The Los Angeles Ironmen are a legendary team that have struggled the last few seasons in the NXL. This 2017 started off with very high expectations but yielded unacceptable results. With a roster of very capable and talented players, the Ironmen can never get things right or going in their favor. From penalties to downright bad play, the team has been fighting both on the field and off it to reform their status. Coach Todd Martinez never holds back his feelings, and that is always evident when we turn our attention to him and the team in the pits. He has been pushing the team to lead by example on the field. If you say you're going to do something, go out there and get it done. Off this reckoning, the team has made some headway and made Sunday for the first time in 2 years in Chicago. One final event lies ahead of the Ironmen and their bid for World Cup.
We're here, 2017 NXL World Cup, officially the biggest paintball tournament the world has ever seen. I'm Matty Marsh. I'm here with Nick Sloviak. We're at center court. 8 teams remain, quarterfinals in the professional division. We got some interesting stories here. A battle of Southern California. San Diego Dynasty taking on the Los Angeles Ironmen, who have made Sunday 2 events in a row. Obviously, that's a 2 historic names. It's been legendary battles back and forth between those 2 squads over the years. The Ironmen with their revamped roster, that's going to be a good one. Also, battle for Texas. It's going to be San Antonio X Factor and AC Dallas. They're taking on each other to see who's going to move on to the semifinals. No love lost between those 2 squads, trying to get that moniker anytime they play each other. What, at least for the next couple months, is going to be the best team from Texas. Also interesting story here is we have the number 1 and the number 2 seeds playing each other in the quarters. So that could have title implications. Yeah, as we have Tampa Bay Damage is going to be taking on Edmonton Impact, and then in the other game here in the quarterfinals is Los Angeles Infamous with Thomas Taylor. I felt played outstanding here on the snake side, playing the team that cut him, Houston Heat. So in Houston Heat, looking at just outstanding out here. Yeah, looking hungry. They've already won an event this year, so those are the 4 games that are about to go down. I'm gonna throw it over to you, Nick. Go break this field down for us, and I think you're about to get shot.
Oh, thank you, Matty. Yes, going to break this field down for you guys here really quick. We're going to talk about the snake side. And as Matty mentioned, a lot of good snake players. Big guy being Thomas Taylor. He's a really good snake guy. We've got 2 entrances to this snake. Typically, you can call this a snake 1. It's like a fortress. Big mini wall bunker here. Then you got the snake 2, pin. A lot of players coming straight inside to get to that spot. These areas are relatively safe, not a lot of areas, the spots that can shoot you. But if you guys have been watching all weekend, you've heard Matty Marshall talk about the funnel of death. Well, we're gonna show you what happens when you get in the funnel of death and you get shot. So there's a nice bounce shot off this 50 cake that comes into this area here. And I got my main man, legendary player, Rich Telford, who's gonna demonstrate that bounce shot for you guys and shoot at me. So buckle up, because here we go. Rich, you ready, baby? All right, let's do it. So this is the bounce shot. Yep. Ow, ow. So this is why it's super hard to live in this spot here. yeah, he's gonna keep shooting me. This is why it's super hard to live in this spot, because Rich, all right, because Rich is such a good shot. So he's shooting off this mini cake, and all those paintballs were coming into my side and just peppering the heck out of me. So it's really hard to live here in the snake once you make it onto their side. So we've seen a lot of players, Lackey, played really well for Thunder, would get in here, try to get a shot, and then back up. Unfortunately, a lot of players getting shot off all these bounce shots. So snake, really important. Thomas Taylor playing the snake really well. Probably the best we've seen, especially when he has competition inside of it. Now we're gonna move to the wall. We get to the wall. You've got a few options as you head up here from the back center from the start gate. You have the center can, which you can stop at and pause to block out any shots. Shoot left, shoot right, cover the zones. There are big lanes on both the snake and somewhat on the Dorito side through the window of the wall. You also have this tower, which we've seen a lot of players come to on the inside. Check to see if anyone else on their opposing team is coming up there, and then make that second bump up to the wall. Now, when you get up to this wall, you have a lot of shots, not only from the left and right side of the wall, but through these windows. These windows, we've seen Tyler Harmon, we've seen Blake Yarber, we've seen Damian Ryan. Every team that's playing today in today's competition has amazing shots standing up through the wall here to shoot through the windows to stop players from moving. Now, the last side of the field is the Doritos. We talked about this in Chicago. There is the gap of death. And the gap of death, shout out to all my VIP guys. What's up over there, guys? Doing good? Gap of death is right here between Dorito 2 and Dorito 3, or you can call it Dorito 3 to Dorito 4. There are a lot of shots from the first Aztec on the snake side, the first tall cake, the can, and the wall that can shoot this gap and prevent you from making this move into the Dorito. So we look forward to seeing all the teams, the top 8 teams that have made it onto today. Sunday's competition, play this field. Thank you guys for tuning in to Go Sports. We'll see you guys live on the field here in a few minutes with the quarterfinals. Thank you, Rich Telford. I'm wearing these goggles all the time.
talk and shoot. Yes, sir. Real simple. You got it.
I smile all the time, baby. Look at, we're in World Cup. It's Sunday morning. Try paintball. What you got to smile about?
It was almost could have been a major for how much. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know. I didn't see it, but like I said, I mean, that's how so even though that's so you're get it right. I thought they done really good.
Get in the hunger. Do it this way.
Pick up. They got an excellent for you. Blake. I think what more what I meant is the same accent. Come on, baby. Let's go.
Bounce.
Let's go. 7. Okay, we're gonna keep this here. It takes picture needs it. Yeah. There it is.
Hey, bring it in.
Goggles on, goggles on.
This 2017 NXL season has been filled with heartbreaking losses and vigorous wins. We have seen 4 champions crowned over the 4 events held thus far. San Diego Dynasty took down Edmonton Impact in Las Vegas with a dynamic move by Alex Rodriguez to win the match in the closing moments. NXL Dallas had a nail-biter battle between Houston Heat and Edmonton Impact, where a Chad George one-on-one with Impact's Keith Brown gave Heat the victory. The third stop in the NXL's tour, Atlantic City, had a resurgent Red Legion team face off against a hot and impassioned Tampa Bay Damage. In the end, the Red Legion was too much for Tampa Bay Damage, taking the win and the title. There is a rich history of paintball in Chicago, and that is where we saw a new team step up and make the finals. AC Dallas played a gritty and slow-paced game against a very hungry and determined Edmonton Impact. In the end, Impact won out the back-and-forth chess match between the two teams. As it stands, World Cup is anyone's event to win. Teams have stepped up, and teams have faltered. It is about who wants it the most. There is nothing left to play for here at the season finale. Momentum has been built up all year long, and the stage has been set for the best paintball teams in the world to battle it out. Catch it all live November 3rd through 5th on GoSports.com.
So welcome 2017 NXL World Cup. I'm Matty Marshall with Nick Slowiak. It's about to go down. San Antonio X Factor and AC Dallas and Dynasty and the Ironmen. That's going to be our first set here in the quarterfinals. Going to find out we're going to win these games. And at this point in time, and if you're just joining us for the first time watching some tournament paintball, you have to win this game to move on. The prelims are over. It is now survive and advance. This game is brought to you by Carbon Paintball. Definitely check out their website, carbonpaintball.com. They got a bunch of new products. They got the thermal pods, some new colorways on their packs. You can save yourself 50%. Use the promo code WorldCup17 at carbonpaintball.com. Love that company. I love the people that run it. They're a big supporter of the webcast. And the biggest supporter of the webcast are you guys. So thank you guys so much for joining us here at GoSports.com. You can see the fan predictions there on my fan wagon. Hopefully you got your picks and try to win some of that Monets, that $1,000 for first place. You can see that the Ironmen are definitely a pretty big underdog here to San Diego Dynasty, 62 to 38%, and a little bit closer there on the fan predictions for San Antonio X Factor and AC Dallas. So Nick, we got about 30 seconds before the start of this first point here, and it's going to be the teams from Texas, AC Dallas, San Antonio X Factor. Who do you got in this one?
You know, Matty, we've seen these two teams battle it out, and X Factor has a slight edge in victories throughout the season. I don't know, man. I want to say it's almost a coin flip here, but I think the big factor, the X Factor, is going to be how aggressive X Factor wants to go into the guns we know are going to be anchored in the back line for AC Dallas.
AC Dallas definitely plays a slower brand of paintball, but I talked to John Jackson before the event began. He said they don't really want it to define it that way. Yeah, it's be a little slower than other teams as both teams lose the body off the break, but he feels they play a smart brand of paintball. X Factor definitely have the edge on the aggression, on the attacking, and on the experience. So if you're just going on paper, you got to give the edge to X Factor. X Factor, arguably the most consistent team in the league the past 3 years, other than maybe, of course, the team that's ranked first in Edmonton Impact. This is the 12th event in a row that San Antonio X Factor has made Sunday. Looks like right now, though, AC Dallas with good field position up in that center. As you just saw on your screen, the back line for X Factor. X Factor, though, Nick, launching on that D side.
Yeah, Archie Montemayor doing what he does best and applying that pressure on the rear side. He gets himself a kill right away down the line on Brad McCurley. So now a one-body advantage for X Factor. Two-body stack. Colt Roberts and Archie Montemayor stacked over there. John Jackson retreats from the wall to that tower. He's going to be putting crossfield pressure on Colt. He cannot see Archie in the position he's in. Both teams lose a player going out to the snake corner off the break. John Jackson now repositions again.
Yeah, John Jackson, I love the way that he audibles, and I like the way he gets around. Not the smallest guy, not the fastest guy, but his asset is his timing and his gunfighting ability. He's going to reposition again. Lots of bunkers to work with there in the center, but looks like X Factor in the driver's seat right now as they have that one-body advantage.
Yeah, they definitely are. Looking for Clint Johnson and John L.J. Woodley to make a move here. They let John Jackson fill all the way over to the snake 3.
I don't think
that's a first.
We have not seen that fill all tournament long. No. So, and again, it just proves, you know, John Jackson, again, not the smallest, not the fastest guy, but he has become so good because, you know, of his brain, man. Just he's a really smart guy, and he's been a student of the game for a long time, and he just made a pretty crazy dynamic move from the stand-up tower into snake 3, and he's alive in there, and now everyone's shooting at him.
Yeah, and he's about to go into your
funnel of death.
Funnel of death. Shout out to Rich Telford.
Yeah, how many times did you get shot in that little display of the funnel of death? Baker's dozen?
Well, at least solid 15 from Rich Telford came right into me.
Gotcha.
If you guys missed that, rewind.
It's very noble of you to step up and take one for the team and get shot 13, 14 times by Rich Telford in there.
Talk about it. You better be about it, okay? And that's how we do here at GrowSports.com.
So right now, see,
I'm just a regular guy.
can you just do the whole show in your Chicagoland accent? Is that possible?
I can try.
So right now, X Factor is going to have to deal with John Jackson. John Jackson is in that 50-yard line, structure of the snake, that funnel of death, and he's in the, I hate to use the word safe, but he's in the safest position you can be in right there. And you see those bunkers at the top of your screen, the stand-up can, the tower, D1 and 2. Those are the bunkers that have the best shot in on that funnel of death. And then he's going to get out, come over here. But they haven't really been pumping paint through this lane, though, Nick. They really haven't been funneling any pressure. Do they know John Jackson's there? I think that's the question right now.
LJ Woodley definitely knew he was there, and it was a good fill by him to get out of that back center because John can pop up and shoot him. John's protected from Archie in the Dorito 3, or Dorito 3, because there's that tower in the way. But I really expected LJ to be shooting that bounce shot off of the 50 cake into John Jackson. Yeah, like you said, safe. That's still paintballs, the probability of them coming, it's not a question of if, but when.
Well, typically speaking, in that 50 structure of the snake, and I was just going to say, as soon as they know you're there, it's a great spot, excellent spot, lots of shots until they know you're there. Once they know you're there, they start flooding paint through that lane, and those bounce shots have been very apparent. I'd say 8 or 9 times out of 10. The guy stays in there, and that's why John Jackson retreated. So again, very smart player, and he knows how important this game is, obviously, and that's why we're going to see longer points out here, most likely.
Well, you know, I was just thinking about that. The other thing that surprised me is that Clint Johnson and Woodley are not really working together to apply any pressure on the snake side, because John Jackson is forcing Archie and Colt to look this way, and John Jackson now retreating even farther, which is a risky play right here, too, because if he overexposes himself to Colt or Archie, should they look in, and Archie's now moved into the Dorito 4. He's at the 4-yard line.
I feel like he's safer in D3 than he is in this position, or at least from a gunfighting perspective, a little bit more, he's got a little bit more to work with, but we haven't seen this. We haven't seen a guy come over from the stand-up can in there, so maybe John Jackson saw an angle. You know, I mean, he got here using a move no one's used, and now he's backed up off that spot. We haven't seen this spot played that way, and you can see X Factor as they have that one-body advantage. I mean, maybe tactically speaking, when they were talking about game plans, like, hey, if we go up on AC Dallas, let's try to beat AC Dallas at their own game. Yeah, take your moves, but it looks like X Factor slow playing this one a little bit.
Yeah, and there's a great shot right there, John Jackson and the snake, and you can see all those pins in the tower in the center field. That's going to block him out from Archie and Colt on the Dorito side. And Archie is so far down the field, it's actually the wall that's blocking him out from John Jackson.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that John has to worry about right now is Clint Johnson for X Factor is in the snake corner. And he can, if John tries to go out too wide, he can see him. LJ Woodley smartly, finally, makes a move out of that first Aztec into the mini cake. And he's got some freedom to move. He puts himself in that spot now. That's Danner's shot from the Dorito corner. That's a long shot cross field.
I was gonna say, we've been talking a lot about John because John's been getting down in here, but he also has TJ Danner in D1, back corner bunker on the D side of the field, and then he has his brother, Matt Jackson, and kind of flipped the script up a little bit. Typically speaking, Matt Fuzzy Jackson, John's brother, is normally the attacker, but John has that in his tank as well, too, and he's now crawled up into the funnel of death again. He's been playing a lot of these different spots, but then smartly retreats out of there because Archie does have that lane. He can flood paint through that angle.
Yeah, LJ Woodley looked inside, saw John in that spot, and immediately called out to Archie. Archie, who was parallel to John Jackson, the snake, and instantly started shooting the bounce shot off those cakes, and that forced John Jackson to back up.
Really long point here, man. We're coming up on a 6-minute long point. This might be the longest point we've seen all event long. We've seen a 4.5 and 5-minute point, but I think this one just took the...
Yeah, no one actively engaging in any big gunfight. You know, Archie is trying to shoot the shot on the snake.
Was also, I think somebody's trying to shoot a bounce shot off of the pin. You can see all that paint right there. Well, not on your screen, but
Clint Johnson wrapping the snake corner.
So John has really been doing his due diligence here in the snake. He got in there with an unconventional move. His brother behind him, still with a pod or two on his back, and this is when paint becomes an issue. We have not seen one game yet where teams have run out of paint based on...
And LJ might have dislocated his shoulder. Look at him.
Oh, no.
LJ he dislocated his shoulder on the snake.
This is worst case scenario. You know, John Woodley has definitely had problems with his shoulder right now, and this is the worst time for his shoulder to pop out again, and now it's essentially 3-on-3. Woodley is trying to get his shoulder back in the socket, but you can see there with his left arm hanging, and he's trying to straighten it out. I mean, that's given me some shivers just thinking about, you know, we've seen in years past guys have some pretty heroic plays here with them dislocating their shoulders and refusing to come off the field and just kind of staying in the game, sometimes even gunfighting with their shoulders out of joints. Brandon Short comes to mind, Brandon Cornell. But Woodley is still in Snake 1. His shoulder is still out of place, and he is, you know, it's tough. I mean, this isn't his first rodeo when it comes to this injury. He's definitely had shoulder problems before, and moves being made on that D side of the field. Did Archie get past the 50-yard line?
No, he did. Because Colt's there now.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Colt is now either got shot or went forward, because Colt is now at D4. Woodley still, unfortunately for John Woodley, who's been such a consistent killer. He won their overtime point for them early on in this event by running through that center.
Yeah, and you can see him arching his back. The thing he's going to have to do, and I've never dislocated the shoulder.
Yeah,
he's going to have to stand up and really lean over, or gets, after this point, we're going to need some medical attention.
Well, yeah, we've seen this before from Woodley. He has to stand up and kind of be able to pull his shoulder back, but he can't get an angle while he's in that bunker that way. But I'll tell you what, nobody's really shooting at him, so he might be able to actually stand up and try to at least get like a good couple pulls before he can come back down.
Well, Danner's repositioned himself out of the Dorito corner into that Dorito tower to stop any press that comes from Colt and Archie. But that now, him backing up, opens up a lot more shots on Woodley and the Snake. And you can see him there at bottom left-hand side of your screen. That's John Jackson in the main frame for AC Dallas. He's essentially pulled a Malloy and moved all over the field. But
yeah, John Jackson has definitely been Malloy-esque out here. And you see Woodley is trying to do what I was just talking about. He's trying to stand up and get that angle and utilize the front of that. But it looks like TJ Danner gets taken out. This is going to give him a little bit more freedom. Unfortunately, if he's got to have his back player, and his back player gets a shot on it. And so Woodley got his shoulder back in joint. So Woodley was able to stand up, put his shoulder back in. He picks his gun up and starts rolling it right away, man. That kid, the heart on that kid, man, and he put it back in joint so much he was even able to utilize it to pump up again. Now, if that's the first time that ever happens
was
to you,
he playing possum?
There's no way. What a gutsy performance by LJ Woodley and the rest of the boys from San Antonio X Factor in the longest point that we have seen out there. Great job by Colt and Archie to get down that D side, and also the back player for Woodley protecting him while his shoulder was out of joint for, I'd probably say, at least 3 minutes, 2.5. It was a while.
I want to say about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, it felt longer than that. Maybe
well, the whole point was long, and this replay brought to you. But here's Woodley making the move into the Snake. He puts his left arm right there, and left arm, you can see right away he brings it in. This is where he stands up, and
he's finally able to get the angle he needed to put it back in.
But here we go.
Yeah, we're going to jump into this first point between Dynasty and the Ironmen, who've been waiting in the wings to play their first point. Now Ironman doubling up that back center with Golding and either Al Fernandez or Aviles. But Golding looks like he was going to run out, but he didn't. Blake Garber gets up in the center. Now the Ironmen are flying out. Dynasty still 5 strong. And it looks like there's the Ironmen on your screen. They were able to get out wide. No, it looks like Scott Kemp, who was one of the heroes for them in the prelims, he gets taken out early.
Well, Ryan Greenspan went up and around the corner into the Dorito 4 on the break.
Whew.
So Ryan Greenspan in Dynasty, they've been in this position quite a few times throughout their World Cup history. Throughout the last 7 years where they might have gotten buys, they get a break into it, and they don't perform very well. They did perform very well the 2015 World Cup when they won.
Yeah,
so
and
I imagine they've got some fire underneath them this morning, not going to come out flat like they did earlier in competition.
Well, as we well know, Sunday, it's a brand new day. All the scores, once the seeding is set in stone, you're back at 0-0, man. All you got to do is just win your games and defeat the opponent in front of you. And Dynasty coming out with Rusty Glaze as their coach, one of the best in the business, the really hyper-aggressive game plan, getting Greenspan, who's actually the kill count leader overall for the event, and the kill count leader with the most points played, too. No one's played more points this year in tournament through the prelims than Ryan Greenspan played. Another body comes off for the Ironmen, having to do a tactical retreat on the D side. Those are the 3 players left alive, but Dynasty with 5 bodies, Nick, looked like they might cruise to score this point.
Yeah, their body language, the position that the players on Dynasty are in right now, essentially all across the 50s, is really going to put them in a good spot here as Bobby Aviles gets peeled off out of the back center. Full court press right now as Dynasty is past the 50-yard line. Ooh, Ryan Greenspan did get taken out, but it's not going to matter because the Ironmen are going to go ahead and concede that first point.
That was a beautiful point from San Diego Dynasty. So before we get into this next point with X Factor and AC Dallas, let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Lauren Kelly.
Thanks, Maddie. That was an amazing first point for Don Woodley. Running off of the field, he didn't even take a moment to take any praise from his teammates about how tough he played out there. He immediately just wanted to go on to the next point, asking Coach Ryan Brand about the kills that he was able to get, that adrenaline pumping through him. But I also wanted to let you know that the communication I was hearing from X Factor on the sidelines was incredible, far better than I've seen anyone else all weekend long. Woodley and Archie were communicating across the field about what moves to make and when to make bumps the entire time. So that communication might be giving them an advantage. Back to you.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, communication has been such a big glaring issue for a lot of these teams out here. It's been hard to keep the count right on this chaotic field out, but it looks like Woodley, they do play him in this next point, and they're going to play him until the wheels fall off. Even with the bum shoulder he's got, he's just going to have to be really careful on when he slides into the bunkers on that tender left arm. He does get shot off the break, and now 4 players alive for X Factor. Opportunity for AC Dallas here to get things back.
Yeah, and John Woodley, typically a center player. You know, he got picked up by X Factor this season and has played the wall all year long for them and done a really good job. So, you know, probably a reason why he was slow to get to the snake, knowing that, hey, there is that risk. Most of the time you go to the wall, you're not diving in, but Brad McCurley for AC Dallas making the move into Dorito 4, going to cross shoot immediately to put pressure on Clint Johnson and Billy Bernaccia. Billy Bernaccia just tight in that snake corner from the pressure from Brad McCurley.
And Nick, we know very well that when you have a really long first point and these points are running really long, that means that every point is that much more important. Every gunfight is that much more important. And that sense of immediacy, obviously here on Sunday morning at the most important tournament of the year, the last tournament of the year, the biggest tournament of the year. And we're here in the quarterfinals. And if you lose, that's it. Your season is done, and you got some long months ahead wondering what went wrong. And that's why, you know.
Hate to know what that feels like. Ooh,
sorry.
Man, the picture you paint is so gruesome.
Hey, at least, with Shock, at least you guys had your best game of the year as your last game of the year.
Yeah, of the team we played every event of the year.
Yeah, that's true. So right now here, X Factor still down a body, not able to get a shot on any AC Dallas players, and AC Dallas has positioned themselves very nicely.
Spoke too soon, my friend.
Just as I say that, there goes Matt Jackson. He's walking off dead. That leaves just one body here on the snake side of the field at the insert on your screen.
Yeah, with Ryan Hall, though, you can see him in that center can playing towards the snake side. That is going to definitely put a hamper, a dent into Clinton Johnson and Billy Bernaccia's effort to try and make some forward progress on that snake side. Now, in the first point, Billy got shot trying to fill up to the corner, and so did Jesse Stevens. So Billy doing a good job getting into that corner, but with Brad McCurley now, I think onto X Factor's side of the field, it's going to be really hard for him to do anything. And that's forced, with Brad McCurley's move, that forced both Billy and Clint to look left. So now this is the opportunity for AC Dallas to get in the snake. Ryan Hall comes off the snake side, goes to the Dorito side.
Well, very interesting that X Factor only losing one body is just kind of content to sit there. And just as I say that, here comes Billy Bernaccia with a couple dynamic moves down the snake side, but almost goes right into a lane. And he's still alive, and Billy is now going to push forward and try to get into snake 3. He's going to stop, though. Looks like Clint Johnson is able to get out wide behind him, give him a little bit support down the sideline here. But no kills. Actually, no, yeah, AC Dallas did have that one death, so it is evened up on the body count. But a little tentative on the game plans here in this particular breakout after losing that one, just kind of locking it up. And I don't want to knock them too hard for that, because they do have the lead, and it is up to AC Dallas to push into the guns of X Factor, because if the next 4 minutes tick off this clock, X Factor is going to take the victory and move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, and AC Dallas has got 3 bodies. Billy's going to get a shot at Ryan Hall's pack.
Beautiful job by Billy Bernaccia. Gets up into that 50, into that treacherous 50 structure right there in the snake, and has to lean in, and he gets that shot on Ryan Hall. But here comes the aggressive push down on the D side of the field, gets all the way through and gets John, sorry, he didn't get it, just shot out Archie Montemayor. Nice job by Brad McCurley, taking the best player on X Factor off the field. X Factor still, Billy Bernaccia alive in the snake. Colt Roberts comes off too, so now it's just Clint Johnson and Billy Bernaccia here on the snake side, and it is 2-on-2.
Should be a 2-on-2. I didn't see Danner walk off the field for AC Dallas. Clint Johnson just gets taken out by Danner, so now it's a 2-on-1.
So even though Billy did his job, and he's going to have to try to roll the dice over here on the snake side. But wow, beautiful point here from TJ Danner and John Jackson. So John Jackson came to play, as that's You know, even though they didn't win that first one, I thought he played pretty well here in getting in the snake. And then TJ Danner steps up, and he's been that quiet killer for AC Dallas, man. I love me some TJ Danner. I really feel that he's been stepping up and improving his level of composure and skill as the season progresses, and he's going to have a bright future in front of him. It's now tied up at 1. We're in the pits with X Factor. Let's listen in.
30 seconds.
Coach Ryan Brand and LJ Woodley.
Dude, I shot their guy going snake and he fucking stayed in.
20 seconds.
Sorry. Hey, next point. Focus up. Hey, this is the point, boys. Yep. Grayson. This is where we win this match, X. Right, that's the second point they've gone Cowboys.
Where'd you that hopper?
It's over here on the table.
He went rocket and then and then they really rocked it. All right. They did that broken arrow.
Yeah, so Ryan Brand, you can hear Archie in there saying, hey, this is the point. This is when we win this game. Basically saying, hey, we know these points have gone long. If we win this next one, and that could be the point that sends them on to the semifinals. Right now, Dynasty and the Ironmen. Looks like clean break, Nick.
Clean break and a completely different setup where we've got plenty of time left on the clock.
Yeah.
Dynasty being the really aggressive team here. Dorito 2 on the break, Snake on the break, quick bump by Alex Frazier up the middle. Ironman still pretty much back in those back spots. They do have Bobby Aviles, it looks like. Or Keith DeVitt, can't see who that is. Up there at the wall for the Ironman. Alex Frazier gonna waste no time, go around, stay alive.
Alex Frazier coming through, Nick. Blast the first body up there in Al Fernandez. And then he finally gets taken out, and we see looks like the refs are going to come in and check out Scott Kemp and the Snake for the Ironman. It looks like they're going to pull out Kyle Spica, and so there's
3 bodies now down for Dynasty.
So this is the point for the Ironman, as they have a slight advantage here. Dynasty, 3 players left alive. They're all on the D side and also with one body in the center, Yosh Rao, and they are on your screen right now. There's Tyler Harmon and D2, Yosh Rao, the stand-up can. They also have a player at that temple, stand-up temple over there.
Yeah, so great job by the Ironman to weather that move by Alex Frazier. And unfortunately for Dynasty, just not able to play off of it. Ryan Greenspan tries to make a move, he gets shot, and then Kyle Spica gets dinked out. So Ironman in control at this point right now with a 2-body advantage. Scott Kemp making his way past the 50. He's gonna get into a gunfight with Tyler Harmon. This is the danger zone here, where Tyler has got to play super tight because Scott is wrapping that. But if Tyler can play inside a little bit more, he has that bounce shot off the edge of that kick. So we'll see if he can shoot that. He's sitting really deep off that Dorito. And it's a nice move here by Alan Golding, pickup for the Ironman. Coming over from Europe is Greg Sewers, creeps to the center of the field to try and get a shot on the loader of Harmon.
Greg Sewers hunting for some blood up here up the center, and he ends up getting taken out. Greg Sewers not taking anybody with him, and Scott Kemp comes out as well too. So it was an Ironman advantage here as far as position is concerned, as they were pushing forward. A couple deaths from their 2 attackers, Scamp and Sewers. It leaves just Alan Golding over here to try to pull off something crazy. He's looking at some bodies, and Dynasty with that lead is just gonna chill there. Where is that 3rd body? I think they only have 2 players left alive.
It should be a 2-on-2. It should be Alan, and I think the Ironmen have a body over in the tower. It could be Paxson. And you can see the 2 remaining bodies on your screen for Dynasty. But Alan Golding in the driver's seat to kind of just, and here he goes. He's gonna make his move down.
So that's a frustrating one for the Ironman. Here comes Yosh Rao. He's gonna try to have a big fill. I don't think he saw Golding make the move across, and that might work out for Golding, and it does. So Yosh gets clipped trying to get across. He did not see Golding make the move up the Snake. Bobby Avila still alive in the center for the Ironman, and Harmer got shot out as well as we were watching that battle on the Snake side. So what was looking like the Ironman might be throwing that point away, Alan Golding, Bobby Aviles, they stay alive, and they tie this game up here as we're locked at 1.
Just a good move by Alan to come down the Snake right as Yosh Rao wanted to make that fill over. So good timing by Alan, and unlucky move by Yosh. But let's go check in with Lauren Kelly on the sidelines with an update.
Thanks. I was in the AC Dallas pits during that last point, and they're really talking about the Snake side. They said they need to be aware that if anyone, for whatever reason, takes pressure off of the Snake side, Billy Bernaccia is going to be in there. So they need to plan for that moving forward. Even though they got that last point to tie this up, with not that much time on the clock left, they're still being critical on themselves and trying to tighten everything up so they can try to take this lead without going into overtime. Back to you.
There's no other way to find success on the professional paintball field than being hypercritical. You have to be hypercritical out there. So it's good to hear coming from the AC Dallas pits that they, even though they won that point, they need to address the Billy Bernaccia issue over here in the snake. They did let him get in there, and then sure enough, they're just going to run Billy Bernaccia to the snake off the break and triple up the back center. They go heavy guns, X Factor, and it looks like a penalty assessed over here on AC Dallas.
Yeah, minor penalty being thrown. 3 bodies getting taken out essentially on the break. So Paulie and AC Dallas going to have to concede that point.
Well, that's what Archie was hoping was going to happen when Archie was like, hey, this is it right here, boys. This is the point. We win this point, we win this game. And you can see a pumped up Dixon Yang is.
Do you have a lung?
Let's listen in.
Really pumped up.
Let's go. Boys. Way to fucking be. Way to fucking be. Good running, Billy. Way to fucking be.
Absolute decimation for X Factor off the break. So we're going to watch at it from the point of view of AC Dallas as they go double up the guns in the center. They try to get out, not even that wide, I mean, but they were running into 3 guns. X Factor tripled up the back center. We haven't seen anybody triple up the back center. We've seen 3 bodies back there, and you see the minor penalty assessed.
Brad McCurley.
On Brad McCurley.
As soon as he dove into that Dorito 1 and came up, he took 2, one off the loader and one off his body, and just didn't know. The ref from the sideline calling him out. Brad was looking inside, going to draw that minor, and then I think Jesse Stevens diving out to the first bunker here catches one. He gets pulled.
Disastrous break for AC Dallas. They're now down by 1. There's not much time left. Like you said, though, a completely different story here as we're tied at 1, and there's 11:16 still on the clock. Quick points, and that's the magic of this field, man. This layout, we've seen blowouts, we've seen low-scoring games, high-scoring games. This, actually, when you do the math, this is the most points we've ever seen in the prelims on any of the layouts. So, and no team's ever running out of paint. But still, all of a sudden, you still can find yourself in a 7-minute long point. You never know what's going to happen out there. It's what makes it interesting here. And it looks like 3 bodies have now dropped for the Ironmen. And talk about Disastrous starts to a point. This is another one here. This time, unfortunately, it's the Ironmen for them. But for Dynasty 5 alive, looking completely in control. And there goes the 4th body, and they got to blow that horn right now.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised Todd has let this one go as long as he did, especially not seeing any Dynasty players walk off. The one thing that's going to be interesting, and I guess this is me being hypercritical of X Factor, as we're about to move into that. We're in the pits with Dynasty right now. Is I'm kind of surprised, even though LJ Woodley did dislocate his shoulder that first point, is how slow they played. Because in all the points they played thus far, X Factor, I feel, has had the advantage. And they're, we've talked about this, and Todd's really good at breaking this down from his, his coaching perspective. Is you're going to try and outplay AC Dallas in their game. X Factor's not known for that, and AC has proven that with their 6-man squad last event, it took them all the way to the finals. So I'm really interested in watching X Factor play slow. Obviously, they got 3 bodies died last point.
Well,
they went aggressive.
I'm looking at theirs. We were looking at the pits with Dynasty. They look calm and composed and definitely pumped up right now. But I'm looking at the prelim matches for X Factor. They didn't have high-scoring games, but they didn't have necessarily low-scoring games either. But it was definitely on the lower end of the point spectrum that we've seen. So they didn't really play hyper-aggressive in the prelims either. This is just a slower brand of it. But now, as you can see the kill count leaders here on the match stats, Archie Montemayor, no surprise, they're leading the pack. And here comes AC Dallas having another disastrous break, and a pumped up X Factor is just arms to the sky, and it looks like we might have a minor penalty as it's just all falling apart for AC Dallas right now.
So 2 AC Dallas players shot on the break. Jesse Stevens going to the corner, and then Danner shot on the Doritos side. Not sure if he was shot moving on the break or just in a gunfight. But then as Matt Jackson tries to make a move on the snake side, he signals to the sidelines to draw a minor penalty. The point's conceded by AC, and then a ref throws a minor penalty on John Jackson in the back center. So there was Brad McCurley still left alive. I'm not sure if those penalties will transfer over to this next point.
That was what I was wondering too. Now we're in the pits. If you haven't had a chance to see the new Best Kids in Texas documentary starring San Antonio X Factor, you got to go watch it, man. It's on YouTube. It's on PB Nation's YouTube channel. Fascinating story. Fascinating story, and this 15-year journey they've been on. And just wanted to mention it because Alex Martinez, the reason this team exists in the pits right now, got to be very happy with their performance here so far in the quarterfinals.
Going from what, a 7.5-minute first point to now leading 3-1, the biggest difference been the off-the-break shooting.
Yes.
Just decimating AC Dallas. So here we go now.
1-point game, 2-1. Ton of time left, 10:35 to go. Ironman in the red, on your right, Dynasty in the blue. On your left, and a big break from the Ironman. They send Keith DeVitt up the gut, to the wall, off the break. Dynasty Nick doubling up that back center.
Clean breakout for both squads. The last 2 points the Ironmen have had some trouble keeping bodies alive. Tyler Harmon's going to slide up the center and now make his way to the wall. We'll see if he goes right around. He does to take out Keith DeVitt. Does he preserve his body? He does not. He gets shot. So now one body dropping. But this is the big thing that happens that Dynasty does, is off that move, Ryan Greenspan cuts all the way to the Dorito forward and is immediately putting pressure on Scott Kemp and Alan Golding.
It almost looks like they drew it up that way.
Absolutely. You saw, as soon as Ryan saw.
Oh, but he might have just got shot. So Ryan,
oops,
just gets commentator cursed like a madman here from Nick Slowiak.
Hey, Ryan, what's up? I'll see you at Matt's Wedding next week.
Yeah, Ryan, the kill count leader for Dynasty here, gets clipped in his bunkers. That's a bad death, for uncharacteristic bad death for Ryan. Alex Frazier up that center. He's had a pretty awesome tournament for San Diego Dynasty, and now he is now just zoned up on that D side of the field. But like you were talking about before Ryan actually got shot out, that was a really good timed fill from Ryan to get so much forward progression. If he had just, I think he might have felt the moment a little bit and tried to engage in a gunfight a little too quickly and got clipped. But he made it all the way to D4 off the chaos that Tyler created up that center.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you know, these are the top 8 teams. The Ironmen are no slouches. They earn their way in here as we watch him move through the center. Bobby Avila's going to go and trade out with Alex Frazier. And off that, Greg Sewers makes the move now into Dorito Force. Kyle Spica gets shot.
Well, this is that back and forth battle that we were expecting to see. And Greg Sewers, what an outstanding year he had while the Ironmen were underperforming. And Scott Kemp also alive there and in the snake, Golding behind him. And both Skemp, Golding, so consistent here through the prelims. Very aggressive for Scott Kemp. He's been doing lots of work in the snake. Golding is the 2 behind him. And what a great follow through, as you can see here on the replay. Greg Sewers cracking this thing open as he comes down the D side. Actually, yeah, but Bobby Avilas goes through first. Bobby goes through first. Oh, he's the one that cracks it open. Bobby shoots Alex Frazier, shoots out Kyle Spica, and then finally got taken out. Actually, I think he was alive that whole time. No, God, that wasn't Bobby Villas. That was Al Fernandez, man. It's tough with Al Fernandez and Bobby. They have the same body type. There's 35 and 32. Al Fernandez is 35. Bobby's 32. But let's give our props here to Al Fernandez, one of the younger players on that squad.
Stepping it up,
Stepping it up. He's been with that crew for multiple years now and really earning some playing time with some stunning play. So Al Fernandez cracking that open. You can see there the prizes on your screen for myfanwagon.com.
Yeah, you're going to go in for free. First place, EVS goggle system from Empire. Second place, the GI Sports LVL loader. If you're a VIP member, you take first place, you're going to win yourself 1,000 cash dollars. Second place is a Vanquish GT. And do not forget, if you're a VIP member, you are entered in a chance for that season prize of a DLX Lux Ice, which we were graciously given another one by Daryl Trent, Tim Montresor, and company from GOG DLX, and Andy Arias won that. All you had to do is be entered in as any member and make your picks by Friday. So shout out to Andy for getting that win. Make sure you message Go Sports and bug Cena, because you want him to ship you your gun.
Well, I'm also wondering, we got $1,000 cash money right there he was talking about. So can I choose, if I win, to maybe get my cash in like an envelope or like a brown paper bag? Can I get my $1,000?
We can brown bag it for you.
Like crisp 20s in
I
a
mean,
brown paper
they
bag?
got that giant check, and I've got to,
Oh, I
won. I really didn't. So I'm not sure how they do that. I'm guessing most of reviewers. Well, Danner's won a few times, or he's been up there.
Danner, did he win the $1,000 first place?
He could have. I don't know if I think he's
he
the
won
free.
the gun.
I think he's the.
Yeah,
well, he could have.
I think he won the gun. I can't remember. Regardless,
we'll try to talk to him.
You have an opportunity to win money, guns, and not just guns, Luxes, which are some cream of the crop, Ferrari, Lamborghini type paintball guns.
They
Bugatti. Those things are nasty. Everybody that shoots those things loves them. So again, shout out to the sponsors helping us out with FanWagon, bringing you the statistics here for professional paintball. Also, this game brought to you by Carbon Paintball. They got some new colorways for the packs, the thermal pods that turn white when they're too hot, so you know when to switch your paint out. Never seen that before.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not too hot here today.
No.
I'll tell you what.
We got a nice morning. It's completely overcast. It's actually kind of foggy this morning.
A lot of humidity in the air.
Yeah, but this is actually perfect paintball weather right here. It's probably going to heat up a little bit in the afternoon, as it has been, which is going to affect the paint. But right now, this is kind of perfect conditions for paintball, other than a little bit of humidity, but it is not hot, so that shouldn't affect the paint. Paint is such a sensitive thing, very much affected by the conditions out here. And if it's hot, now the paint manufacturers prepare for that. But then if the conditions switch, so if it's supposed to be hot and humid and it's cold, that could be an issue. There's lots of, it's an art working with paint. Let's check down with Lauren Kelly.
Hey guys, as you see, AC Dallas is starting a body down. That's because AC Dallas conceded that last point before the refs were able to pull a body off for that minor penalty, hence why they're starting down 4-5. Back to you.
Well, they immediately even up the count here by shooting 3 players. So Disaster now strikes for X Factor, and with 2 minutes and 16 seconds, X Factor has to be very careful, because if AC Dallas can score a quick point here, down a body, X Factor was on a power play, but had a horrible break, losing 3 guys. They have 2 players left alive, and that's it.
Man, way to rise to the occasion, AC Dallas. And shoot 3 bodies on the break, taking a page out of X Factor's book. You can see your match stat kill leaders right there on the screen. But whew, starting down a body and you shoot 3 players on the break. I almost thought a penalty was going to be assessed, but it wasn't. Those bodies were just shot. A ref did not throw the flag. Body was shot going to Dorito 1, and then both bodies trying to make it out to that tower to the B side. We'll watch this replay brought to you by Carbon. Ooh!
Oh, they leave
so
early.
Woodley, well,
so
he
Woodley,
tags up. He should be fine.
Well, also,
so maybe that.
Well, and Archie got a bad jump too. Misstep by at least a step or 2 before or after everyone else came out, and you see the ref running and pulling all those guys out of there. I didn't see a flag thrown.
No, and I didn't see anything break on I think that was Archie going to the tower. But it looked like he had tagged up and didn't leave early.
If I'm Ryan Brand, I'm Alex Martinez, I'm a little angry right now. It's like, guys, we have a 2-point lead. We've completely stolen the momentum away from AC Dallas. We're going to come out and have a terrible break like that.
That's the point.
You guys need to refocus a little bit here. So let's not start patting each other on the backs quite yet. This game is still not in hand.
You're absolutely right. And as we watch the Ironmen take on Dynasty in this 5th point, Todd Martinez streaking down the sideline saying that a Dynasty player was shot. Jason Trozen getting his look over here.
All locked up at 2, 8:38 to go. Both teams 5 strong, and the ref is in there checking out Blake Yarber for San Diego Dynasty on your right. And it looks like Keith DeVitt is up there for the Los Angeles Ironmen. Who's going to go around? It's going to be Mike Paxton, not Keith DeVitt. So Mike, who pulled off a 2-on-1 yesterday, comes around, plays the aggressor, takes Blake out of there. It's now 4-on-4.
Yeah, I'd say Mike Paxton and Keith DeVitt have similar body types as well. Both very, very strong men.
Yeah, yep. Big, strong, hairy, stout, 2 foot thick.
Boom. So it is a 4-on-4 right now. Greg Sewers, Scotty Kemp on that Snake and Dorito side, respectively, leading the way for the Ironmen. Kyle Spica, no, it's Brandon Short, now making it to the 50-yard line. Snake, and look at that, bounce shot, man. There it is.
The funnel of death strikes again. Brandon Short getting taken out of that center structure, and the 50 for the Snake. Looks like Scott Kemp's going to squab his gun, and Scott Kemp, though, staying alive in here, and the Ironmen now have a 1-body advantage.
Yeah, and the ever-consistent Ryan Greenspan for Dynasty is in that Dorito 4 again. But gunned up Snake side. Not sure the communication he's getting from Marcelo and Yosh telling him that there's someone on the Snake. Greg Sewers in front of Ryan Greenspan, top right-hand side of your screen.
Well, we had Kyle Spick up here yesterday afternoon while you were playing, and Kyle had said that Ryan was kind of freaking out on him a little bit. But now Scott Kemp improves his position, but he's getting a little bit closer to Ryan Greenspan's stream. But Ryan was saying, hey, we got to know where that guy in the Snake is, man. We got to figure it out, communication, this and that. And Alex and Spica were both like, hey, a lot of times we're not going to know where that guy is. Just get used to us not knowing where he is. We have to contend with that. You are also going to have to contend with that, because as we saw, just say John Jackson play that spot, or if you've just been watching, period, you've seen that guys are repositioning all over. There's a lot to work with in there. It's really hard to figure out with 100% certainty where exactly that guy is in the Snake 100% of the time.
Absolutely, and even John.
I mean, you played on that side.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's tough to tell with the inside and outside and the gaps in that Snake where the body is. You're looking for bunker movement, and you're hoping that some of the guys in the back center or the towers see a pack as players start to move up. And then you're just going off you're just going off your instincts and thinking, well, in the position that we're in, where does that guy need to be to try and take out one of my guys?
Yeah, and if you're out there listening and you're a young Snake player, be very careful about hitting the bunkers when you're in there. Because if you're laying heavy upon a bunker and the bunker's moving around, then you're letting you're telegraphing your location to your opponent. And look at this, though. A body now drops for the Ironmen out of their bunker. And I think it was Al Fernandez. So Al Fernandez with a bad death over there. And there goes another one with Greg Sewers as Ryan Greenspan is just clocking in on that D side of the field. So the consummate star, Ryan Greenspan, able to, as always, earn his stripes. You know, you got to do it every tournament, right? You can't just rest on your laurels. And, you know, Ryan's kind of been the definition of not resting on your laurels. So it looks like a little three-pack there. And we're back in the pits with the Ironmen as they're down a point.
Greg, hey, if you're the only guy dealing with that fucking wire heads up, you got to stay that way more.
Yeah, good call.
He's basically saying, hey, look, if you're the only gun on Ryan, don't let him do whatever he wants, man. You need to put some pressure on him. So Dynasty on the back of the play from Ryan Greenspan, able to make moves down that D side, put their third point on the board, and take a 1-point lead. And now we're back into this match. Talking about 1-point leads, X Factor up by 1 over AC Dallas with just a minute 46 seconds left to go. Both teams initially had a good break, but X Factor losing a body out of that back center, but they were able to get a shot over here on Jesse Stevens.
Yeah, Jesse Stevens has had some survivability issues. He is going to one of the farthest bunkers out with the biggest lanes on the break. I think every point he's tried to play and get to that snake corner, he's been eliminated really early on. So 4-on-4 matchup here, and now time going to become an issue as we're at a minute 20 left in game time. So if bodies do not start dropping here quickly,
AC Dallas has to run into guns.
You're going to have to run into guns, or Paulie's going to have to concede. And I don't know. That's a tough call to make.
Well, they're even on the body count, but there's that 1 point extra that X Factor has that AC's got to worry about. So just like you said,
boys better start putting their bayonets on.
It's right, absolutely. Bayonets unsheathed, ready to go, because it's going to get nasty here for AC Dallas. They have to go forward. The cardinal sin of paintball is being alive in your bunker in this situation when that game time ends. So I don't expect one body to be left alive for AC Dallas if they don't win this point when this game time ends. If I was coaching the team, you'd be getting an earful from me. Like, we're going to lose the World Cup because you're scared to attack? Come on, man. So right now, looks like they are definitely not scared. And here comes AC Dallas pushing forward, crawling into the 50-yard line here in the snake with Matt Jackson. He only goes past that.
No one's shooting the bounce shot.
Only 22 seconds left to go here. And this is when if I'm X Factor, nonstop rolling my guns. I'm going to be shooting my gun for the next 14 seconds because I know they're coming. And it looks like Jackson able to get a kill, and here comes the attack with Brad McCurley coming down on the D side of the field, and he's not even going to stop. He does get shot before he hits the buzzer and then collapses to the field. I hope he's okay because he's had knee issues. Smartly, TJ Danner runs in, and with 2 seconds left on the clock, and Brad McCurley is still on the ground, and that is not good for AC Dallas, as Brad McCurley had knee surgery and was on crutches for 2 full months, and then when I talked to him at the beginning of the event, he said he was healthy, but then we heard that he was having knee issues again, so the referees converge on him. Danner also hit that buzzer. Nick, some chaos out there, not exactly sure. It looked like McCurley got hit before he hit the buzzer, but Danner also stomped on the buzzer too, and that's just a ball drop here from X Factor. Can't believe X Factor, with the bodies they had left alive and the positions that they had, let AC Dallas with 14 seconds left get 2 guys to the box. Unbelievable. There's Brad McCurley. He comes through and puts on the knee and immediately collapses.
Watch his left hip.
Yeah, watch it from the other angle.
Right there on the
He
pack.
gets shot, hits the buzzer, puts his knee down, and then immediately crumples to the ground. So max effort from Brad McCurley.
So the big question here is, because when Brad was running in, like around that corner, and the big thing that happened is Clint Johnson or was Woodley died out of that back center, and no one in the tower was watching the tape, and that's what allowed Brad to make that move. Now, Billy Bernaccia was alive in the snake corner for X Factor and was shooting at Brad. Now, I never saw a ref signal Billy out. So Billy stood up saying, hey, I shot him, I'm not hit. And then Billy got torched.
Yeah, it's Brad with the grimace on his face. We'll see. We'll see how it is. So he said that he shot Billy first.
I mean, either way, I think that's a mutual. You have to call it. But with Brad hitting the buzzer, we saw this yesterday.
Yes.
That's going to be a play. If it's deemed that that's the case, it would be a minor penalty on Brad. They have to pull a body, check to see who's alive on AC replay.
So, and that's what I didn't see. Did you see? Okay, so Danner came in. Looks like he didn't have a hit on him.
No,
so Danner was alive.
Right.
So that would take Danner out.
Then it would have been Matt Jackson.
So Matt Jackson's still alive, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt Jackson was still alive. I don't know where John Jackson probably alive too, because he backed all the way up to the snake corner.
Well, this again, for X Factor, when they go back and watch the tape on that, just completely dropping the ball there. But you know, AC Dallas with Brad McCurley and TJ Danner, what an amazing performance for them in that point. And it looks like Brad had to pay the toll to do it, though. We don't know even if they win out if we're going to see Brad again, and that's a huge killer. They have a skeleton crew. They only have 6 players, so it's going to be tough for AC Dallas for the rest of the tournament with their starting one on the D side down with an injury potentially. I mean, normally you don't come back out on the field when you get carried off the field.
So
Billy had hits on him before I hung it. Yeah.
No points.
That's what I'm saying.
we're still saying we're going to move past that. We do have another match, Dynasty and the Ironmen. Dynasty is up 3-2, 5-51 in this game.
Let's check it down with Lauren. Maybe she'll have some information. You see Brad yelling at Jason Trojan, our head referee. Lauren, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, yeah, as you saw, the refs are making the call that it is a no point due to a dirty hang, but Brad McCurley is arguing that he shot the snake player before he was actually shot. So the refs are going to be reviewing that in the booth right now. Could get overturned, but as of right now, it is a no point. Back to you.
So going to get back into this Dynasty Ironman match here. More time on the clock, but a similar situation. A little under 6 minutes to go. Dynasty up by 1, but we're going to most likely see a couple more points out here in this quarterfinal matchup. Ironman, good break for them to get up to the 50-yard line. They get Scott Kemp to the snake off the break, but Dynasty mirrors that move up. They get Brandon Short, but Dynasty losing 2 bodies quickly from that D side. Ironman losing a body too. Now 3 bodies have dropped. It's getting chaotic out here, but I think the Ironmen have gotten the better of San Diego Dynasty here in this point. They have a 2-body advantage after that initial chaos. We did see an Ironman body come off from that D side.
Yeah, I was up in the middle. It was Al Fernandez going up there and trading, I believe, with Blake Yarber at the wall. A huge advantage right now for the Ironmen. We're down by 1. Great field position there now in the snake. Scott Kemp in here, Alan Golding in the corner. He's got Bobby Bills next to him. So the Ironmen with just 1 body on the D side. Brandon Short is trying to play that way with Marcelo Margot. They're stacked up over here in the snake side for Dynasty. So right now, both of those players are looking the Dorito way. Scott Kemp's got a highway move. He can run the tape and take both of them out. I think it's just a matter of him to be told that there is no one on that Dorito side for Dynasty. Here comes Bobby Villas right behind Scott Kemp. And I imagine one of these two are going to make a move here very quickly.
Well, Dynasty just trying to hold on and preserve this lead, which is going to be very difficult because not only are they down 2 bodies, but those two bodies are in the same line. When you have 2 bodies left alive, you want to have this field spread out. Brandon Short comes out of snake 1. He gets to the small cake. He goes right back into snake 1 after that. Not able to produce a kill off of that little creative bump. But here comes Greg Sewers, gets into D4. And the Ironmen are peeking out of their bunkers trying to figure out this count. Brandon Short now goes to the 50, trying to get his former roommate, Scotty Kemp, lulled to sleep here. Little brother-on-brother action is about to go down here, and he comes around and he's able to shoot out Scott Kemp. Luckily for the Ironmen, Scott Kemp does not play on, but Brandon has to trade his body to do it, and that leaves just Marcelo Margot in a low-body 1-on-3 situation in this back bunker here, snake side.
Well, Marcelo has definitely been in situations like this, but he gets shot down the tape by Alan Golding in the loader, so the Ironmen going to tie it up at 3 apiece. Now, looking at the boards here, the clock, the scoreboard says X Factor 3-2 with game time of 2 seconds. So,
well, hold on, let's listen into the Ironman pits right here.
Jump in your fucking head.
Got this, boys. Come on.
Hey, we have to work together, dude. We have to fucking work together. We gotta work together. We gotta play together. We have to fucking talk. At any point, Short could have stood up, ran down the field, bunkered all 3 of you fucking guys. You know what I mean? Somebody's gotta say, I got the tape. I got the tape. What's the G count? What's the ball count? Hey, are you guys fucking paying attention yet?
Listen.
Okay, because it sure as fuck doesn't look like it. it, man. Let's go.
I was talking to Scott. I got the tape. I got
Okay,
and I said,
Scott
I
had
got
no
the green
idea.
side, San Diego, San 2, possible G3, Cali Snake.
Okay, at some point, we had all three of our fucking guys looking on the inside at nobody. There's nobody there. It's G3, California, and the fucking Snake.
Right.
The guy from fucking Snake 1 went to the God, back to the Snake, and then fucking crawled all the way to the Viper. You know what I mean? If it's G3 and we know the guy's in the fucking Snake, go stab that motherfucker and let's get this shit cracking.
Did you hear me when I was yelling G2? Yeah.
Todd Martinez, always incredibly passionate about his team and trying to get max effort, and as we always say, execution from his guys. So really disappointed in the communication of his team right there, even though they won the point. But that's what a good coach does, is they keep you accountable. Do you have some information for us about this X Factor AC Dallas points about to go down?
Still being reviewed in the booth by Jason Trozen. He's directly below us here in our broadcast tower. So still checking that. No X Factor player. Well, Grayson Goff's on the field right now. There are a couple, 3 players for AC. So, well, actually all 5 players for AC on the field. So still being reviewed.
Well, it looks like Brad McCurley is on the field for AC Dallas. Typically, like I was saying, when you get carried off the field, you not definitely, but normally you do not see that guy come back out. But
well,
Brad McCurley has been playing through lots of injuries the past couple seasons. So it looks like they look a little puzzled out here and shaking their heads, trying to, and they're just going to go right back to their pits. Let's get an update from Lauren.
Thanks, guys. This is a heartbreaking call for AC Dallas. I was in the ref booth as they were replaying that last point, and it does look like Brad McCurley and Billy Bernaccia actually shot each other at the exact same time, and Brad McCurley was a step and a half away from hitting that buzzer. So it is going to be a no point, and AC Dallas will not be moving forward. Back to you.
Wow. Well, they left it all out there, man. Yeah, the best kids in Texas did it again. Though they did drop the ball here, man. To let TJ Danner and Brad McCurley.
Great replay right there. You see the ball hit off Brad. You see a ball break off Billy's loader. So amazing move by Brad.
Yeah, amazing move. And Brad definitely max effort right there. He can go into the offseason right now confident that he left everything out on that field and can be confident in the loss that they took. I know it's a tough one. And he's going to be replaying this point in his head if he had just maybe gone a second earlier. But, you know, really who needs to focus is X Factor right now. The fact that they let AC Dallas blow that point open with just 20 seconds left, that's something they got to address here before they move on to the semifinals. Is we're seeing 1,000-yard stares here and some dejected and frustrated looks on the boys from AC Dallas as their 2017 season has ended with a loss here in the quarterfinals. Hopefully, though, Brad McCurley, I mean, he's going to have some time to heal, but on that surgically reconstructed leg, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, you know, he recuperated. He was down for 2 events. He played first event with AC Dallas in Vegas after coming over from Infamous. Then that injury presented itself before Dallas, set out Atlantic City
for like 2 months, right?
Yeah. They thought it was actually a lot worse, I think, and then it was just hey, you can't play.
Did he have to have surgery or not? Because I remember he was talking.
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
They thought that was one of the routes to take, but he elected not to do it. Now the question is whether he will have surgery now in the off season.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
So that is yet to be seen.
Yeah, I remember when I first talked to him, and he had said he was going to have surgery, and regardless, they're out. See how bad that injury is, and now getting back into this match that is tied up with that amazing play from the Ironmen. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go, but the Ironmen lose Scott Kemp, and they lose Greg Sewers on that D side. So they're 2 stars that, you know, I mean, Greg's been their star all year. At this event, Scott Kemp really emerged as the go-to guy on the snake side, but both those killers are off the field, so this is huge for San Diego Dynasty. Right now, they have 5 players alive, but no lead. So
yeah, now 3 bodies down, and Todd Martinez and the Ironmen going to concede the point to preserve.
That's
with
smart.
3 minutes and 6 seconds left on the clock. The Ironmen going to go down 1 point to San Diego Dynasty. And now because that AC and X Factor match is concluded, we have 2 minutes to talk about our favorite people on this paintball field.
Finally. So
yeah, I've been waiting.
Yeah, so with the Ironmen right there, they're going to have to go back in this pit, and I'm sure we'll probably get a glimpse in there.
Greg, you made it, yeah?
So let's listen in actually real quick before we break this down. I want to hear what they have to say.
You're all set?
A little too common here. Well, it looks like Todd's trying to figure out what play he wants to run. He does have 2 minutes to work with, but I would be hoping they'd be talking about variables and angles right now. And
well, here's the big thing. They lost that point pretty quick. Not screaming. Todd's focused on his clipboard. You know, he's going to delegate where he wants his bodies to go.
Yeah.
And make their moves. So it's.
I'm not hating on them because obviously they're in the quarterfinals. But I feel that one of the things the Ironmen seem to lack this year is when things aren't going their way, they get quiet and they're not talking about necessarily what went wrong. And when you look into Impact's pitch, you look into X Factor's pitch, you know, the teams that are constantly getting up there, they're talking all the time. Win, lose, it doesn't matter. They're constantly discussing what just happened out there, what they could do better. And that's typically what you want to see. That's when things are pointing in the right direction. Now, does that mean the Ironmen can't come out here and win a solid point against Dynasty and tie it up? Of course not. Of course they can.
There's a lot of time left in the game, 3 minutes.
So there we are now in the Dynasty pit.
20 seconds.
Alex Frazier. Letting everyone know that there's a lot of time left. 3 minutes and 6 seconds to be precise.
So here comes the starting five. Al Fernandez getting another spin. Bobby Villas out there. Scotty Kemp, Golding, and Sewers. And Dynasty ready to go with their five. Ooh, Marcelo getting a really good break. And here comes an aggressive move up the center. They can Blake Yarber all the way to the center 50. No bodies have come off for either team, though. Ryan Greenspan mirrors up with Greg Sewers, so both the Ironmen and Dynasty have a body. With Sewers and Greenspan in D2. Marcelo gets out wide here on the snake side. So other than Blake, not much forward progression for the Ironmen yet. Here comes Spica, gets out of the back corner bunker, goes to the insert bunker, snake side. Scotty Kemp mirrors up that move.
Yeah, the one thing we're not seeing out of the Ironmen is that wall presence. We saw that earlier on. They won some points, made some trade outs up there. But they're giving Dynasty that center wall presence. You can see the 4 players for Dynasty in the back line. Ryan Greenspan, the Dorito. Got Yosh Rao in the back center, Marcelo Margot. And Kyle Spica in the snake insert.
5-on-5. But this break, a 5-on-5 break with 2 minutes and 13 seconds left, that bodes well for Dynasty. They have the lead. All they have to do is hold on for the next 2 minutes, and they will be advancing to the semifinals. The Ironmen, different story there. They have to find a way to break this cross, and that's really hard to do, and you're looking at 5 bodies.
Yeah, Scott Kemp right there on your screen just narrowly avoids getting shot, trying to peek around that tall cake to make his way into the snake. He's forced to play inside to put pressure on that crossfield shot that's coming from Ryan Greenspan. So Scott Kemp, left-hand side of your screen. He's got Alan Golding and Bobby Villas behind him. Farther down the field on the Doritos, you've got Al Fernandez in that tower and Greg Sewers in the Dorito 2. Spica making his way into snake 1. Big move by Bobby Villas all the way down through the middle of the field to trade out with Blake Yarber. Bobby Villas has been clutch all year for the Ironmen to make those moves and do that.
You know, Bobby's a great counterpunch guy, man. You know, he's got pretty decent speed. He's got great timing. He reads the field well, very experienced, and that was a big move to take the thorn out and at least clear that guy out so they have an opportunity to create some open lanes. But Ryan Greenspan, off of that, was able to get up into D4, so that's going to make it hard again. So it was a good move from Ryan to slow the attack down the Ironman, and here comes Scott Kemp, wanted to come through the highway. The referee wants to check him out before he does it, and he's going to pull him out, so that is not good here for the Ironmen. Just 50 seconds left to go, and they're down a body. It's 4-on-3.
Yeah, Scott's got to watch out now because he keeps motioning to the stands. He's going to get himself a penalty. So now 2 bodies down for the Ironmen. It's a 4-on-3. Well, here we got 37 seconds left.
Greg Sewers comes.
He's dead.
Well, yeah, but he pushed, just shot out Ryan Greenspan. But Kyle Spica able to get into snake 2. You can see the kill count leaders there on your screen. Greenspan up there with 8 confirmed for him. Spica is about to get run down by Golding, but not before Marcelo Margot stitched up Golding, and there's a major penalty. Nice job by Marcelo Margot to watch over Kyle Spica. He gets the shot on Golding. Golding continues to go forward because he didn't really have a choice at that part. Well, he did have a choice. He could have stopped shooting because that's pretty much going to be the coffin nail right now for the Ironmen. Beautiful work from Marcelo Margot, Kyle Spica, Greenspan, and Yosh Rao, who are going to send San Diego Dynasty with a 5-3 score into the semifinals. There's only 16 seconds left. You cannot score 2 points. Well, you shouldn't be able to score 2 points in 16 seconds.
Let me out there.
We've never seen it happen. So Dynasty punching their ticket to the semis. Dynasty will be awaiting the winner of the Heat Infamous match. X Factor moving on. Going to be awaiting the winner of the Impact Damage match. So let's go down to Lauren Kelly.
Hey guys, I'm here with John Woodley, the MVP really,
Thank you.
especially that first point, man. I told you I was standing with Dynasty, and we all just saw you sitting under that bunker being a champ.
Oh, thanks.
Tell me what was running through your mind besides lots of curse words.
Stay alive, win the point, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind over matter, I guess. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that was a huge point for you guys to get, but
Yeah.
that match was
Huge.
so close. And that
Yeah, it
was
was.
the Texas grudge match. You know, they
Yeah.
knocked you guys out
Yeah.
earlier this year.
Yeah.
They wanted it. They were hungry. And I know you haven't seen the replay yet, but it was so close.
Yeah.
Brad was a step and a half away
Yeah.
before he got shot.
Yeah, he had a great job running down the Doritos like that. It was just he took that moment, and just with 10 seconds left, he almost got it. You know.
Yeah, he put
Yeah.
everything into that last
Yeah.
point. But seeing what happened there, I mean, allowing those two players to get down the field with that like last 15 seconds, does that make you guys go back in your pits and talk about some things you need to tighten up to move forward?
Yeah, I put it on myself just because that back center is just so hard to stay alive in there, especially when they get down the field like that. So I should have got out of there quicker and go to that Aztec on the snake side and kind of just look that Dorito way, because I'm just a lot more protected from the snake. So I mean, that's basically how we could adjust it faster with that. Yeah. So I mean, that's good though. Those are exactly the matches you want. If you're going to win the
Learn what
tournament,
you're doing
right.
a little bit wrong beforehand, so you don't do it
exactly.
later.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on winning that
Thank
one.
you.
Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Lorna. Yeah, big congratulations to a very tough man right there. LJ Woodley dislocated his shoulder, stayed in the point. They ended up winning that one. He was able to put his shoulder back in and start rolling his gun before that point was won, and they will be moving on. And I'm glad they do understand how big of a mistake they made to almost let AC Dallas tie it up. But it didn't happen. They will be taking on the winner of the impact damage match, and we have 15 seconds left in this one. Is anytime you have a major penalty under 60 seconds, and now we're going to have another major, this time again, and it's going to be on the Ironman again, and this time it's on Meter Niños. So we're going to have that game time stop and play another pointless point.
Hey, can you score 2 points in 16 seconds? You absolutely can if your Dynasty and the Ironmen keep giving you majors.
That's why I qualified it with you should not be able to do that. The only way you can score 2 points in 16 seconds is at the end of a game, when the rule is that if a major penalty is thrown during that, that's the last 60 seconds, it stops the clock, the other team immediately gets the point, and all this is doing is just running up Dynasty's score and making this game look a lot more like a blowout when it wasn't at all. This was a very close game until the very, very end.
Yeah, and this should now be run off. There's absolutely no point to going out here and playing.
Well, you're just risking injury, right? I think.
You would be, but in my mind, what player on either team is going to run and dive into a spot? Like, no one on the Ironman, of those 4 guys left, ran and dove anywhere. Keith DeVitt was past the 50.
I would hope not.
No?
Stranger things have happened. Yes, I agree with you. It's 11 seconds left. There's a 3-point spread now, as I think it was Meter that got that major penalty. Not quite sure. It looked like they were pointing at Meter.
Yeah.
But just kind of a big breath here and shaking my head. You know what, though? For the entire weekend, yeah, we can isolate a few mistakes that made the difference for the Ironmen and let Dynasty win this game. I wouldn't say let Dynasty win this game. Dynasty played some phenomenal paintball this morning. And when you get to the quarterfinals on Sunday, it's tough. You're playing against the best 8 teams in the world. You never know who's going to win these games. I mean, yes, one team is favored over the other. It looks like they might just...
They did.
They think they are going to run it off.
They have.
Yeah, so again, congratulations to San Diego Dynasty, but the Ironmen did look the best that they've looked all year long. This is 2 tournaments in a row that they've made Sunday. Unfortunately, 2 losses in the quarterfinals. But I think that as long as they can keep that squad together moving on, maybe even improve the squad, that 2018 will be a much different year for them. But yeah, man, hats off to Scott Camp and the rest of the boys on that team that they played well enough to make it to Sunday. So let's head down to Lauren Kelly.
Hey guys, I'm here with Ryan Greenspan. Congratulations on that win against Ironmen. Now, you guys got the win, which is the important thing. You're moving on to the semis, but how do you feel overall about Dynasty's performance in this first match on Sunday?
I feel great. I think this whole week leading up to the event and practice, everybody had it in their mind. We didn't have a great practice, but we did, and I think that we're playing stronger than we have all season. If you noticed, our mentality and our whole overall composure is more aggressive, and that's paying dividends.
Absolutely. You guys are aggressive, and you have, don't know, the highest energy in the pits. You really do. Like, you guys have your words boost and grit,
Right.
and you get each other hyped, which obviously plays huge into the mental game going onto the field, that confidence.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and I always try to. I'm usually not that guy, and I'm not very good at it, to be honest.
That's
I usually
okay.
say,
Not everyone needs to be yelling.
I say awkward words at times often. I usually try to rely heavily on Tyler, so I tell Tyler, hey, let's boost this up. So my mentality going into this one and what I'm trying to think in the back of my head is try to be more excited than Tyler. And more intense. I don't know if you've ever stared into Tyler's eyes when he's excited.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a scary thing.
I stay out of the way because
It's
he's
exciting.
like a giant,
yeah,
too.
it depends on
He'll
what
run me over.
side of the excitement you're on. It's
Yeah,
either scary or
absolutely.
exciting.
Well, congratulations on that win. We're excited to see you play in the semi. Stay tuned, guys, for the next match.